These movements of gang stalking are based on harming people. When we look at like Lord Rama, when we look at all the good deities, they always came to preach like love, compassion, or self-empowerment. So these people that are doing this to you want you to fall down on your face, not to be able to get back up. They don't want to help you. You're dealing with something lower than the lower elements. And these dregs of society want to cause harm to people so that way they become impoverished. So that way they cannot transcend above their current state. They're not interested in being your brother. They're not interested in giving you a hand up. They're not interested in protecting you in the community. They're not going to investigate because you're dealing with informants, you're dealing with people in federal agencies and secret societies and people that have taken an oath to other groups, and they respect their groups more than our U.S. Constitution. Well, I want to share this clip again because I want people to realize how it is to be harassed while you're shopping, while you have an ant come over, you're eating and they're coming in and you're being harassed. And this guy ran his cart into my body and I ended up dropping. I had a vaporizer in my pocket, was hanging on the side, and he hit me so hard it fell down. I had to go pick it up. But this guy rammed me with his cart and then told people I was crazy. And while I was shopping, I seen him just, just telling people in the store, hey, watch this guy, he's crazy. And I couldn't figure out why this was happening, but this has been happening everywhere I've been going. So even in school, I've been harassed. I always mention DHS, FEMA, classmates. I mean, I'm leaving school after school due to harassment. So I'm going to play this clip again. You hear him? He said ramming speed. And see, the guy, they tell him the lane is closed. And he hit me with his cart. He said ramming speed, hit me with the cart. They said the lane was closed, and it was closed, and he's still bothering me. Look. See, and he's mocking me. He assaults me with his cart, and they couldn't really see it because, they're taking care of my groceries. I'm telling him the lane's closed, and he's telling me I'm crazy. I think he's crazy. You're gonna injure someone. So, it's all about harassment, people. This movement. There's people yelling and screaming in my face. This was happening all over town. I first moved here. This non-stop harassment. Everywhere I'm going, it's non-stop harassment. And this is daily. When I'm going for drives, a lot of people, like actively want to hurt me. I'm going to get my mail. I've had people come to me like they want to injure me. So someone is slandering me. Someone is trying to cause me to be harmed. Now, when you watch this video, you will see that I'm being harassed. It's quite evident. And you'll notice, look at the crossbones on his shirt. And then let's go over here. You'll notice the same thing, the same pattern. When I put on full screen, and you'll see the same pattern, the crossbones. And then this car passes by. And look, I actually felt like it was like really, really close. Look at that. And then what's even more strange is that when you look at her tag, let's go back here. I was able to zoom in on her tag, and then it came up the same type of car. And one day I went for a walk like 8 months later, and she seen me. She looked horrified. I couldn't figure out why. Let me see if I can get it in here. But anyways, I'll have to play around with it. There it is right there, but I'll have to play around with it and get it at the exact spot. And I had to play around with it for a while. And I had to constantly do this, like zoom, like and stop it. And I had to zoom in. And it took a while. It would take me a couple seconds and I can get it. But anyways, I was able to get it, use some forensic software, get it very clear. And I got her tag. And what I find strange is that I've been harassed by people from Canada, different states, and we share our information with different countries. It's not really healthy for Americans for that to happen. A huge portion of Americans are never going to go to a lot of these Five Eyes countries. So I was receiving in the mail every week stuff from retirement centers. I couldn't understand why. And then I started to also received different stuff that I just wasn't requesting. Strange phone calls like free security cameras for, if you're a homeowner. And I have a video about that on my YouTube channel. So I was being harassed because people were letting me know that they were watching me. And one of them came from, I guess, a company called Spectrum. So I'm assuming they were sharing my information with Citizens Corps. And actually their office is like right next door to a secret society. So God knows who's getting my information. So I just found it all so strange. When you look at Citizens Corps, they're tied to insurance companies. So there's a tremendous amount of loopholes for a lot of illegal activities to happen. And when I lived in Florida, I actually had this FBI contractor constantly following me around. So I investigated him, went through his trash, and found out he was an FBI contractor. But he was a Christian man. But it's a long story. I didn't like what was going on. There's some weird stuff going on there in Florida through a lot of these contractors and stuff, a lot of shady things. So just found it all so strange that when she leaves, a guy gets out of the car afterwards. I guess when she parks, someone comes by, they talk to her, and then this guy starts walking up. And I had the video, I mailed it out, and he starts doing this, like pacing like 10 feet in front of my apartment and 10 feet back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, what the hell, right after meeting this guy? So I got tired. I was really tired. I was really pissed off, and I went to the police station. The police did not want to give me, I think he works for the VIPS program, so they're under Citizens Corps. And prior to this incident, I had, let me go back here. I had a knife mark made across my table. So this was shortly before this incident. So the police wanted to add this report to a report from my housebreaking where a knife mark was made across my coffee table and not give me a new incident number. So 8 months later, I guess they realized that it was wrong, and they issued me a case number, and it came up with Citizens Corps. So they investigated, and from what I was told, let me pause this. So from what I was told, since they're, I guess, a company, I have to take them to court, do a civil lawsuit. Now, I have some other videos, and the reason I'm not sharing it is because it's a woman that I actually recorded while I was going to Citizens Corps a while back. This was after this incident because I was being systematically harassed, and I wanted to try to talk to them and know, like, I don't want to be harassed. And then 2 weeks later, they come to a CVS with 5 other people. They all go into the store in a group, and one of those women was a woman that harassed me at another store, and she started laughing in my face hysterically. And I have a tremendous amount of videos. I wear DVR sunglasses, DVR watches sometimes, DVR belts, all types of devices. I'm always carrying something. I even had one where I had it strapped to my ankle, and I had it where my shoe was at, where you could actually see. I'm all the time experimenting, all the time recording, even in my car when I'm not in it. So I've tracked one woman. She followed me around, and I found her exiting the FBI office wearing all black clothes. And so this is a real big movement, and I've done tests to see if these people will follow me. I'm all the time seeing how I can catch them following me. So I have, the majority of my videos that I'm not sharing, I would say it's in the hundreds, way past 500. It's hundreds of videos of lots of women opening up doors for me, harassing me everywhere I'm going. And it's like these people see this as a game. It's like they want to belittle, demean, degrade. I have found feces all over the place. I have found trash in front of my place. So I have surveillance cameras up. I'm dying to get them. And I already know where one of them lives. And I caught this other person next door to me down the road, and they're throwing rocks at my place. I mean, it's all the time I'm being harassed. And when I first moved here, every time I went outside, they had put a street pool up. And I looked on the internet, and that same street pool matches a report, I think it was from ABC News, concerning the FBI, how they put up these light poles with surveillance. And every time I went outside, approximately 30 to 40 seconds, someone would come outside, the same person. And they only came out when I went outside. This happened for a year straight. When I went to CVS, every time I went to CVS, a red car parked next to me. Then the next day it could be 4 red cars, 5 red cars. Or go to a gas station, it's 9 red cars. My same model, same size. So what happens is that when we share information with the public, it gets abused
by groups that are rogue and racist at times. And it gets out of control where law enforcement can't handle the problem, DHS can't handle the problem, FBI can't handle the problem. So it creates a serious mess. And then Austin is a big IT hub. So you're going to have people that are going to hack your computers. They're going to want to get information about you, make sure you're not crazy, you're a good person. And what happened was when I went to the FBI and asked for help, they hung up the phone on me 3 times. So I went to the main FBI office. They told me I'm crazy. No one's following you. No one's harassing you. So started doing research and found out that Department of Justice, all their programs all line up. And then when I did research, other people are complaining about them, harassing them. So I found out that they are engaged in this community engagement, community policing, community-based harassment, and they work with sheriffs. So I started to wonder why I was being harassed at school, and I've lost probably about $45,000 in scholarship money in the past year and a half of living here due to being harassed in schools. I had the last school I went to, a teacher mentioned DHS, and he worked for FEMA too as a volunteer and stuff, and supports them, and looked at me kind of funny. And then I had a classmate next to me that actually stated that sometimes the community has to watch people and put them in check. Couldn't figure out what it was. Then I was going to cybertext, and my teacher would look at me and start saying the word child molester and look at me. And then I went to another school. The people were saying like, "Hey, the person's crazy. He's not right in the head." So this movement is real, and it is based on harassing people. It is based on slander. And when you look at the videos from whistleblowers, you see that these people use every single type of Stasi method to get people blacklisted, to get them harassed in all areas of their life. Now, I have no sex, drug, or violence charges, and I'm being harassed everywhere I'm going. And I had received a death threat while living in Florida to join a group called the Freemasons, and I never joined. And the people had like this G symbol, how like it was like a red ring with a G symbol in it. And my best friend growing up, he was a Freemason. He never really talked about what he was involved, but he was a really good person. And I guess I got some type of group that wants to get even with me. I don't know what it is. I haven't done anything to no one. And I started having encounters with a group called the Illuminati while I was in Florida also. So I had a real odd experience. I would have to say the most powerful magic that I've ever seen in my life. Well, second would be from the Illuminati. I've seen some pretty powerful stuff from the Shurigama mantra, but when I used to practice it. So let me see what else here. I don't know if I shared this video earlier. Hold on 1 second. Let me pause this. Okay, while I lived in New Mexico, I reported this VIN number here and covering up my information, but here's the other part of it too. And this guy was following me around, and I noticed damage to my vehicle afterwards. I found it really strange, and he also ended up showing up at the University of New Mexico. He didn't have a parking permit, was an older gentleman, but on the police report at the University of New Mexico, they put down that I never mentioned what the person looked like. And that's not true. And this is the VIN number and the information that I gave them. I actually had to file a report. This report does not match the report they gave me. Now, I want to share their information because I find this really interesting. These are the people that filled out the report. So let me share the report. I'm going to cover my information up. So my hand here, but I was doing some errands, and I'm just making it short and simple. I turned to the law center. I was going to the legal library, and the vehicle was parked with no license plate and no parking permit, was unoccupied. And supposedly they scanned the VIN, but I was there. They never did. That's not true at all. And I told my fuck I'm being stalked. Now, let me go to the very first page. This is the information they put down. Now, the car had no license plate. When I contacted this company, I hired a private investigator. They found out this VIN doesn't even exist. This tag, let's look at this tag, 313AT. let's go to that tag. Let's look here. It doesn't exist. Now let's go to the VIN that I put in. This is the VIN that I put in there on my report. It doesn't exist. Now let me cover up my case number and let's look at this VIN on the police report. So there's tampering with these police reports. Someone's trying to hide something. And when I moved to Albuquerque, I was hoping to start there with a fresh start, start a new life, maybe get married, rent, date, because I have a lot of skills and I wanted to use them. And this lady moved directly across from my apartment. And that same day, I had another encounter with a man, and he was from Virginia. And I was having a drink by myself. I very rarely go to a bar. Normally go to restaurants, have margarita, some taco salad, whatever, if you eat every once in a while. That's about it. But he sits next to me, tells me to watch out what I'm talking about. So I started getting these emails about knowing my enemies, watching my back, and they would show pictures of thugs. And these people parked next to me with no tag. And then about 17 white vehicles, they had white tags, pulled up. And what I find strange is this lady, she pulled. I was at a laundromat the next day, and she told me her name was Miss Miller, and then she told me pretty much she tried to act like she was my friend. Then she acted crazy with me, and told me that she pretty much wanted me to go crazy, and that she used to work as a U.S. Air Force nurse. It was all this. It's like and at first she was nice, and then she just turned crazy on me, and then I started getting anxiety, and I took some Balta for a little bit, and I got off of it. I didn't like it for 2 days. I was like, screw this crap. So these people want you to become medicated. Don't take medication. Throw it in the trash. So I went to Albuquerque with over 6 computers. Bought this one, and ended up losing all my computers. It was nonstop. There's witnesses that can actually testify that I did leave with 6 computers. My tablets were destroyed. Had remote connections. I called the FBI 3 times, and they hung up on me. And there is proof. I recorded everything. So also, I had unmarked cars follow me nonstop. And even when I was paying my rent, people would pull up in an unmarked vehicle, then walk behind the building. I was being followed nonstop. I mean, it was ridiculous. So we see here that this information doesn't exist, and that this company, let me go back, that they put down on the police report. Let's go back now. Here's the VIN number they put down. This is supposedly the company that owns the vehicle, I guess. So type of trust. The car didn't have a tag. The tag doesn't exist. So I just find it all so strange. So when I left Albuquerque, I moved here, and I was having harassment. I was being harassed by a group called Department of Homeland Security and Citizens Corps. And one of these guys had a shirt on saying Department of Homeland Security, and took a picture of my face. Then a minute later, I had 7 people surround me taking pictures in my face. So I was being harassed nonstop. So I decided, and before I decided, to try to get some help counseling, but it didn't help because people were actually going in there to harass me. I was being harassed in supermarkets. I was being harassed all over the community. And now when you look at my video called Gang Stalking in America, that video was taken here in Austin while I was buying groceries. And the people were all the time wearing black clothes, hiding behind cars, trying to cover their plates. Sometimes they would wave at me, and it was very harassing. And they'd be outside. Every time I would go out of a store, it was nonstop. This was 3 to 4 times a day. They'd get behind me and laugh, provoke me. Now, I want to share something with you guys here. Hold on 1 second. If you're being hacked a lot, check this out. It's called a Node MCU. You can buy them on eBay for like $3 or $4. Really great. They're illegal, but if you're allowed to use them in your country, you may want to check it out. Now, I also want to share some other stuff. Here, hold on 1 second. I got some stuff here. I don't know if it's going to come out. But, oh, actually, I had someone, they threw this at my car. And I heard a boom noise before it even hit my car. And it was quite nerve-wracking. And then also, when we look at the FEMA office that closed down recently, I drove by there just to see if they're still there. And I wanted to talk to someone and share my information and just leave. See if they would actually help me. And when I went there, I seen this right here. Let me see if I can find it. Gosh, I don't know where it's at. But they had a symbol that matched like this. Like the Texas Citizens Corps, but it said like Department of Transportation. So it almost resembles like this. So I'm assuming they're all connected. And then what's even, look, it closed by itself. So I had this lady. I don't know if this is her vehicle. I'm almost 100% sure. No, you actually hear me. I mentioned that I'm not 100% sure because there was a lot of vehicles there. But this lady had followed me around and she drove a white Lexus. I don't know if this was her vehicle because I just went there and to buy some stuff and leave. But this lady had followed me. This is not the right timestamp for that. This was just like less than a year ago. I didn't program my DVR sunglasses, so I just came up with any timestamp that it came programmed with. And this lady was really tall. I don't know if this is her vehicle, but this lady that was really tall, when I first moved here, she followed me one day in 3 places. I started driving around because I wanted to see if I was being followed. And I just started driving anywhere. I would just drive 4 or 5 miles and take a right and left. And then I'd park somewhere. Well, I had no idea that I was actually parked nearby a place called the ADL. And I didn't even know it. So I would go on Google Maps to see where I was at, write down the address and see if anyone would pull up next to me. So this lady pulls up and she starts running in buildings, talk to people, and they would come outside. So then I drive somewhere else and she pops up. So I went online to look at a place to have like a cocktail or something. And I found, and then she pops up there. And what I didn't know is that Citizens Corps was like, I think 4 or 5 floors up in this building on Brazers Avenue, but it's labeled as Texas Association of Regional Councils. So I seen her car parked in the very front. She was wearing a black shirt. So I find it weird how in one day I had 3 encounters with her in a city with over 1 million people. It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is her vehicle. There was other cars there. The parking lot was full. I was just buying a couple things, but the woman that was following me drove a Lexus, and I swore I saw her go over there to the Citizens Corps building. So let me keep going on. So I'm gonna lower this real quick. This is this vehicle. When you look at the Citizens Corps thing, let me go here. Hopefully it comes up. I don't know what's going on here. Here, look. Now I'm driving slow because I want the car to pass me. The speed limit is like 70 miles an hour. Look, the car passes. And I noticed that this guy, he drives at my speed, letting me know like, hey, I'm watching you. And then let me see if I can find, I have another video. It didn't come out too good because I had a chain that had a hidden camera and I was taking groceries out of my cart. And this guy, I see him talking to people in the store and pointing at me. And all that I heard was something about community engagement, something like that. So let me keep going. But every time I was shopping, I was being harassed. And this was every day, 3 to 4 times a day. I was getting really furious. Can you imagine if your wife or your kids are being harassed every day? How would you feel? You know, so I was being harassed every single day. So let me see if I can get this video to come up. I was putting groceries away, and I mean on the recall little thing where it moves the food. I forgot what you call it anyways. It's a little late, so let me see if it comes up. Hold on one second. Give me one moment. I'm actually having problems. Look at this. Someone is messing with my video. But anyways, on this video, the guy, something's going on here. Look. Someone doesn't want me to show you this video. I don't know what's going on. But let's see if we can get it to go. Let me something. I don't know what's going on. Look, and this is what I go through all the time. I'm being hacked. Well, I'm just going to tell you what happened. The guy, I was buying groceries, and you can actually hear him. He tells the people there that I'm crazy. Then I started having neighbors say that I was crazy. I just moved here. No one knows me. Look, here's a video, and look. So someone is doing this on purpose. So this is what I go through every day. I can't work as a database administrator with all this harassment. And when I send emails, it's even worse. Now, before I drove there, I seen this car right here. It's a bunch of people in not white suits, black suits. I guess they're from Mississippi or something. They get in this car, and they cut me off. And then this lady, she started screaming in my face. I have it on my YouTube channel. You have to look for it. It's one of my videos. I think it's a woman screaming in my face, and they had a black vehicle. But these people, I was having some food one day with my aunt. She came over in town, and these people wear like an earpiece. I don't know if you can see it. It's not really clear in here, but it's like right there, like a white earpiece. And this guy just stood there, right there, and parked right in front of the restaurant, not even in the parking lot. So I'm being harassed by different agencies. And this is the lady that the same day that I had encountered with that black SUV. This lady in this vehicle right here, it was two women dressed in black clothes. They started screaming in my face. Not like they were flirting with me. I mean screaming in my face. When I went to Citizens Court, to the bar area to have a drink, because I wanted to see if anyone was going to harass me. I just wanted to confront them in a polite way and ask them to please stop. These people screamed at me 1 block from Citizens Court. And then I decided to park my car in the parking lot in the inside of the building. These people in a sports car, they paid for my parking. And I found it real strange. They're like, hey, he's over there. So that means that they're actually tracking me. And so another man screamed in my face wearing a black suit. So I decided to leave. So let me keep going here. Let me see what else I experienced. So let me keep going. And then when we also look at the people that run these programs, I'm sure she's a good woman. But these people are tied to like the Texas House of Representatives. These people are tied to like the governor's Department of Homeland Security Council. So whatever recommendations these people make, the governor is going to go along with it, not knowing that I'm a good person. So from what I heard, the lieutenant governor runs the Citizens Court. So I want to share something I wrote here. It says, let's say you get a new job and all of a sudden you're being harassed and harassed at work. So you decide to go out and buy groceries and you're harassed numerous times a day when you go shop. You come home to be harassed by neighbors. You go buy stamps at the post office and you're harassed by people from Citizens Corps or Block Watch Group. You go to buy gas and you're harassed by some FBI agent contractor. You go to school and you're harassed. You're harassed at the hospital. You're harassed and threatened at work. You go for a drive to escape the harassment, and then you have women harassing you. I mean, the list goes on. You go for a walk and you're being harassed. You sit on your patio, you're being harassed. You go to school, you're being harassed. So what I tried to do to show the lieutenant governor that I'm a good person, I have a blog. It's on my YouTube page, and it's called don'tkillyourbaby.blogspot, because I seen that he was put on the Southern Poverty Law Center website as part of like a hate group because he supports family values. So I actually support him, and I wanted him to see that I'm a good person, and I actually support him too and respect him. So we also see that here's the URL right there. It's the National Incident-Based Reporting Program. So anywhere you go in America, there's all types of reports that are kept on you state by state, so people can actually go look and see like, hey, what you're saying is true. So I'm looking to see other stuff on here. I'm trying to cover up some information here. I just put down some of my encounters, some of the groups that I've had encounters with. So there's a lot of community engagement going on. And also, if you guys are targeted, you may want to look at the Philippines. Yes, the U.S. has a base out there, I think, still. But, yeah, they still do. But anyways, you can get political asylum out there really easy from what I heard. Way better than any other country. Doesn't matter what you've done in life. You made a mistake a long time ago. But in my case, I'm a good person. I haven't killed no one, raped no one, murdered no one. I've never been a drug dealer. I'm not a violent person. So realize that this movement is real, and I encourage people start looking at, Fedora, Linux, uh, political asylum stuff. When you get bored, learn different things. I bought a little kit. Matter of fact, let me show this to you. It's pretty cool. I paid like $3 or $4 for this kit, and it comes with these little needles here. And I have to look for the kit. I have the whole kit, but it's to do like micropigmentation. I don't plan on doing that for a living. I don't want to be no makeup artist, but I thought it'd be kind of cool, learn like scalp pigmentation. So I have the whole kit. There's more, actually more to it. So, and it comes with a handle, so that way you can actually do like eyebrows and stuff like that. So it's important to have hobbies when you're bored, There's this thing called the feather stroke technique, where people used to have their eyebrows shaded in and it would look horrible. Now they have this thing that makes it look very realistic, and people, pay $300 to $400 a pop. So learning that, and I'm learning scalp pigmentation, and I'm learning about Linux. I've been learning for a while, and it's important to get rid of Windows. You're going to experience hacking non-stop if you're using a Windows operating system. It's just not healthy to be hacked non-stop. And when you move into a community and the police alert people about you, and if you live like in an IT hub like I live in Austin, I would say a quarter of these people know how to hack. So that means these people are going to be hacking your computers because they're worried, thinking you're a bad person when you're really not. You're just someone that's targeted, like Julia Davis was, and it's being harassed systematically everywhere you move. When we look at what's going on in like Houston, Texas, we see people suffering. Hurricane Harvey could cost $190 billion. I don't know how much it make a year, but it's probably maybe a quarter of that, maybe even how much we're worth a year. I don't know. It's a lot. And I haven't read my Bible in a while, but after seeing that image, this came to my mind for looking at these images. Flee Babylon. I was listening to a preacher, how he discovered a long time ago. He made a video about it. It was on YouTube, and saying this was pretty much Babylon, the new Babylon. Like it was like the beast that rose out of the sea. And you see, this come out of her, my people. Pretty much flee, run for your lives. Do not be destroyed because of her sins. And when we look at society, we look how sick it is. And let's look at this. Russia's military drills near NATO border raise fears of aggression. China and Russia hold first joint naval drill in the Baltic Sea. Look at this. Russian military bombers, enemy submarine, and drills near U.S. And then when we see what's going on, we see what's going on in North Korea, we see what's going on around the world. When we look at what Russia has, it's called the SS-18. One missile, I guess, dropped out a bunch of nukes and like wipe us out, just like a whole state of Texas. Could you imagine if those people had a couple hundred of them and we don't even know it? I'm sure they're not going to tell us the truth, what they really have. So when China has hypersonic missiles, God knows the technology that they have, and they have underground bases too. So we live in scary times, and we see that evil's always compensated with evil. And harassment, pushing people to the edge, has caused people to lose power. It normally causes economies to fall, to crash. And it's sad when we look at also what happened in, with the Palestinians, with the Muslim people. Their houses were bulldozed, and then guess what happened? We started hearing about attacks in these countries. These people are fleeing their countries, now going into their countries. It's all karma. Just like the gang stalking I've experienced in my life, that is all karma. Maybe it's from a past life. I don't know. But it's all karma. And perhaps my existence is to share these videos I've been sharing about concerning gang stalking, so that our system will realize that this movement is causing serious harm to Americans. Now, I'm not the most perfect person. I'm not a violent person. In the last 2 or 3 videos I've made, I sound a little rude and grumpy because you have to understand I'm being harassed at schools. I have people talking about FEMA, DHS, and saying I'm crazy and all this stuff. And these people haven't seen my videos. Look what happened to Julie Davis. People that are targeted are going to be slandered. And anyone that watches my videos and clearly sees what I'm sharing will realize that what I'm sharing is real and that it is true and it's based on facts. All they have to do is do research themselves and they'll find out that this movement is real. This Stasi movement is not a joke. So I have in the past taken down my channel, made it private, out of respect for our system and agencies, to be harassed again and again and again. They don't care. It's like, please leave it up. We don't care. And I've also noticed that when I do a Google search on my channel or my videos, sometimes they don't show up in my area. So there's manipulation probably going on here and there, but that's okay. But I'm a good person. Just want what everyone else wants. I want to wake up one morning, and I've never had a woman cook me a home cooked meal besides maybe relatives or a grandma or grandmother. I don't have a family that I can, I'm like supporting, doing everything that I can to enjoy life and to put myself in a situation where I can make a good wage and enjoy living. And my only goal is to leave America. That's it. I don't wake up thinking about following or harming people like these people want to do to me. I wake up it's like I'm like an antenna, like constantly thinking, how can I leave this country? How can I experience freedom? How can I be happy? How can I start dating? And I try to think about how can I improve my life every day. I don't think about spending my life in America. I don't think about dating so I can be harassed while I'm dating. I don't think about going to work to be harassed. So I'm constantly building up my skills so that way I can leave. Because I want to flee what's going with this country, because I know what's going to end up happening eventually if we keep harassing people that have just as much power as we do. Eventually it comes back to us. Now look at these scriptures, people. Now let me go back here. Look at the dates. This is just a couple weeks ago, and it could be years from now. It could be attacked. We may never get attacked, but the possibility, the threat of us being harmed in the future by another government is real. And I'm not a Christian, but I pray, and I hope you do too. Peace. I eventually got a report like 8 months later, but they didn't want to file an incident report. And look at this. Do you see that car? How close it got to me? It got extremely close. And let's go back. And this is what I found weird. When this car passes by, I got the lady's tag, and I ran her tag. And what's really strange is that in the mail I've been receiving a lot of things from retirement centers, and she, according to her LinkedIn profile, she's managed retirement centers in numerous states. And she also, at that time, I had a bad reaction to a medication that I was taking called Cymbalta. And the experiences were just really bad. I was going through really bad anxiety due to the gang stalking. So I stopped taking it, and because I didn't want to be on that garbage on the medications. I've gone herbal now. And I think the company that owns is like Ella something. So she used to work for them too. So I found it real strange. Now, look at this. Look how close she got to me. You see how close that she got to me? And when I went back to my house, this guy walked past me, and he went like this right here, like here in front of my apartment, back and forth, just right in front of my ear, like 10 feet up, 10 feet back, 10 feet up, pacing back and forth. And then a couple houses down, I had a person, when I left, put on a jacket and threw on, it's like over, 98 degrees probably. And he just threw on, there's a little girl threw on a hood as she passed by me. And I experienced the same thing from another lady that I seen come out of an FBI office. So now let's look at the symbols here. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. What's going on here? Okay. Now, let me stop this video because when I made this video, I edited stuff out because there was stuff mentioned about law enforcement, so I didn't want none of that leaked out on the internet. But from what he told me was that he mentioned, he said, look, I work for Citizens Corps. I approached him. I kept having people pass by my house wearing black clothes, looking up at my place, parking in sports cars, and I just felt intimidated. This was everywhere I was going, nonstop. People in Mustangs, Corvettes, following me everywhere I was going. So let me keep going. So they do this as a way for people to leave the county, but how are you going to leave if you don't have anything? Now look at this. This was just, I think, a few days later. Let me see. Let me keep going here. Look at this. Now notice, it's all about making people feel in fear of their life, making them feel unsafe. Now, what I find strange is that Citizens Corps is actually all the time wanting to connect to insurance companies. So there could be an element of corruption too. Now, when we look at a lot of these people that direct and probably run these organizations, I bet you that if we were to do research, we would find that a lot of these people are racist, that a lot of these people are in secret societies, and a lot of them are involved in community revitalization. So they're going to take the word of a DHS or any law enforcement agency. Now, we've seen what happened to Julia Davis. She was a respectable person, and she was targeted. She experienced foot patrols, helicopters flying over her house, assaults, almost the destruction of her family. I mean, it was nonstop harassment. So this is actually going on. It's going on covertly.